Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome in. Um, Let me know if you guys can hear me pretty good, pretty well. All that good stuff before we get started in. Kind of lower the volume on that background music. But how you guys doing? Looks like I see Georgia San Joaquin Valley here. What's up, Mike? How you doing? How you doing today, Michael? It's Sunday. Glad to have you guys here. Those that are jumping in, say what's up. All right, awesome, cool. Glad you could hear me. We'll get started here in a little bit, but today's live stream podcast is basically a free for all. I'll let you guys dictate where this conversation goes, just by simply putting what you guys want to put in the chat. If you guys want to talk about the phone that you have, the service provider that you're using, all ears open to kind of listening to what you guys are using these days. That's pretty much what the topic of the subject today is. It's pretty much just like whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about 5G connectivity, your service provider. Brandon, glad to have you guys here. Super awesome that you're able to join in. Gene, what's up? Hello. Welcome. Glad to have you guys coming in here. Please hit the like button too as well. That way, I know that you guys are enjoying the show and everything like that. So, good morning. It is 8:30 a.m. my time here in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been up since like 5 this morning and got a pretty good, a good morning workout in, right? Did about 50 sit-ups, 150 push-ups. My wife got one of those exercise bikes, so I got on that and was biking for about an hour. I watched it basically a little bit more than an hour because I watched a movie on YouTube while biking. So but yeah, so my heart rate's up, blood is pumping, I'm ready to go. Let's see what we got going on here in the chat. Did you and BT get my message yesterday? Which message and on what platform did you message us on? It's 11:30 a.m. where you are at, Gene. Yeah, of course, you're like 3 hours ahead. Yeah, I know. What was it? We did chat a little bit yesterday about the Pixel 6a with its mandatory battery update, which is actually, only certain Pixel 6a's got that. I wasn't pushed out that. I do want to clarify though, something on that. It really had nothing to do with the fact that I had Android 16 on my Pixel 6a already, as there were people who had Android 16 and still got pushed the update. So. Did I watch Saturday Night Main Event last night? I called it. I said Goldberg was not going to win. I mean, that is just the difference between, wishes and hopes versus the reality of business. In your view, it was horrible. Why was it horrible? You messaged us on YouTube. To what channel? Like, which channel did you message us on? Because like, if you message B-Tech Reviews, I'm not gonna see that because I don't run that channel. So I don't know which channel you put a community post on, because YouTube doesn't have DMs, so there was not like a DM option. Yeah, I'm also testing Restream, by the way. So I'm not Restream, StreamYard. I'm actually testing StreamYard, by the way. So I'm trying to see, like, if this is viable again. I mean, I love the new change up on StreamYard, by the way. I do love the new layout and everything like that. I don't know how it's showing on your guys' end, if it's glitching out or whatnot. Just let me know. And yeah, and anyone that wants to try out on StreamYard or whatever, use that right there in the chat. So, but yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you messaged. I didn't get any notifications that I got any type of post on the community for this channel. But if you want to go ahead and just say what you posted, that's totally fine. Get ready to go out for breakfast and family soon. Oh, Gene, yeah. definitely go enjoy time out with your family. That's most important, right? Like these live stream podcasts that I do and videos, they're always here at your disposal whenever you have downtime to view them. You know what I mean? I do appreciate you for stopping in and saying hello on the live. So I appreciate that. It's kind of weird. Well, it has it right there with the comments and everything like that. It's put right there right now. So that's new and a little bit different than what StreamYard used to be. So StreamYard giving Restream a run for its money. But yeah, anyways, like I said, yesterday's video talking about Pixel 6a battery issues and whatnot. Of course, the software update that it's getting mandatory, and only those devices that I guess they deem are going to be affected by this issue were pushed out that software update. So not every Pixel 6a is getting that software update, according to my understandings from what I was literally looking at recently. Okay, yeah. Oh, glad you're here, Gene. Stay here for as long as you can. But you know what? Before you dip out, bid us farewell so we can wish you a great breakfast with family. Sundays is really good, right? When you get to go out and actually have that experience with family and get to go and just chit chat, catch up, share what's new in life. It's always good to do that. Of course, I live in a state where most of my family does not live in, so I don't get the benefits of doing that, being able to just meet family up for breakfast. Yeah, but I mean, I was able to catch the retirement speech afterwards, right? So, on YouTube, you can catch the retirement speech. And I don't know if that was NBC that decided that, or if it was just WWE that decided not to do that. I know today is what? Today is the PLE for Evolution, which is the women's wrestling show. So. By the way, I did end up getting it. I got the Apple Watch SE last night. So I'm using it right now with my iPhone 12. And then I will probably have a video later on this week, just kind of like giving you guys my thoughts about, Watch OS and whatnot. I didn't put it on Watch OS 26, so it's not running beta software. I think it's like on Watch OS 10. I don't want to put it on beta software, and then give a review about it later on this week. So yeah, it sounds about 4 p.m. my time, which is cool because I got some pizzas today. Not takeout pizzas. We got some stuff for homemade pizzas. So I'm gonna make homemade pizza and then I'm gonna watch the show. So that is pretty much like my plan today. That's what my Sunday is gonna consist of, right? Before getting back to the daily grind of videos and live streams. So there will be a live stream with a specific topic on Tuesday and another one on Thursday, and then videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays is the idea. Bringing back the nerdiest podcast. So you guys may have caught that intro when the live stream started. But yeah, the idea is to bring all that cool stuff back. Hopefully B-Tech's doing okay, because I did watch his live stream on TikTok. And so he did live stream AEW All In. And man, was he tired. Like you can hear it in his voice. It's like he wanted to sleep, but he was fighting really hard not to sleep. And so he didn't live stream on TikTok Saturday Night Main Event. So it is what it is on that. As you're coming in, please hit the like button. I would appreciate that. Also, drop a comment. Share with us, what phone are you currently using? What carrier are you using? And why did you choose those two? I would love to know. All right, Gene, have a great breakfast. Enjoy yourself. Thanks for popping in for a little bit. I won't be live too long, so it won't be too long of a live stream for Sunday, but just, popping in here and just kind of see what everyone else is up to. Aside from that, with the Pixel 6a having, those issues and everything like that. Yeah, currently right now, the devices I'm using as a secondary, I'm using a Pixel 5a, the secondary device. One of my daily drivers, the iPhone 12, And the Pixel 7's on the charger back there somewhere, and the Pixel Watch is also charged as well. And I will be probably shooting some B-roll footage later on today for upcoming videos this week. I know I'm dropping a video on the Pixel 7a. More the sense of like, you know, not having to have the need for the latest phones, you know, which is like, excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. Anyways, it's more of like this, right? Like I have this thing where I'm trying to let people know that it is okay to not have the latest, greatest smartphone. Like you don't have to have this year's flagship device. You don't have to have this year's, you know, phone. You can definitely get a good experience. And I think the reason that's so important to me is because I feel, you know, at times I feel guilty when it's like I do a video, like say like I do a video on the Pixel 9a, and then, you know, I do get messages and stuff like that that pretty much like outlines like, hey, you know, like it just makes me feel like that I'm telling people that like they have to get the latest phone. Like the latest phones are awesome, and it's always cool to check out the latest new tech and what the latest new tech offers. But I don't like this idea where people feel like that they have to upgrade in order to feel like they have some sort of relevance. Which honestly, at the end of the day, when this camera shuts off, when this microphone's turned off, when I'm not on this, right, I'm not too worried about what tech you guys are buying out there. So no one should ever feel some sort of judgment about what type of phone that they're using or what type of phone that they want to use. There are people who want to use something that may have came out 3 years ago, and maybe they didn't want to spend what it costs to get the phone brand new, you know, right out of the factory. But now that it's a bit cheaper, it's like it's more within their price range. Like people got to be smart about their tech purchases. Yeah, anyways, I lost my train of thought there for a second. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because I'm getting older. You know, my mind just goes like in so many different directions. But yeah, I was man, lost my train of thought there for a second, and I don't know. I feel like that there's just too much community peer pressure. And I think, you know, like with me saying what I'm saying is basically just telling people like that type of you know, mindset needs to stop. You know what I mean? So I like picking up phones that I've owned and used and reusing them to share with you guys my experience and how I feel about it. That's the reason why that I do a lot of like older tech reviews, right? Like I could try and just scratch up every money that I get and try to get something new. Which, you know, I do that every now and then, but it's not like an every week thing or a monthly thing, you know? It's maybe like 2 or 3 times a year do I get like a actual brand new smartphone and cover the review on it. You know, the next device that I'm going to be getting here, you know, pretty soon is the Pixel 10 when it releases. That is my plan. My plan is to get the phone from Google Fi. I like the Google Fi service. I love it. I am not going anywhere else. I am done playing the field. I don't care if a plan is $25. And as a matter of fact, like I told people, I really wouldn't stake that all these different services are going to stay $25. You know, I do see them elevating, raising prices and everything like that. Just, you know, based upon the business demands of today, these companies are trying to, you know, they're trying to make a dollar. I mean, that's how every, you know, every company is like that. I'm like watching to see if there's like any issues with the live stream, and like there it goes. I don't know if I glitched out there for a second. Someone let me know if it cut in and cut out. I don't know. I'll have to watch the replay afterwards. But you know, anyhow. Like I said, I don't feel like that a lot of these guys are going to stay at $25, you know, a month. I feel like that, you know, somewhere down the road that's going to change. I mean, when you look at it today and you look at the price plans that's being offered by all these different whether it's postpaid or prepaid service, And there's this lingo that's been tossed around for like the last 2 years or a year and a half, and that is price lock guarantee. And when I start hearing that, I start to get worried. I start to get nervous because price lock guarantee is like a way of letting you know like your plan's going to be locked in at this price. But why would your plan have to be locked in at that price if they're offering you the most affordable rates? And that just tells me, because that's just a way to get you in to sign up, obviously, right? I was getting the half off lines with Google Fi, but I figured it's cheaper with $65 plan and be able to use my data on my other phone since I use Google Voice monthly. Yeah, Google Voice is like what I use right now, just as a number for mostly everyone to contact me on. Like my immediate family, right? So my wife and my kids, they actually have like my Google Fi cellular number. Nobody else has that number. Google Voice is what I use. Like I give out to businesses, I give out, for subscriptions. I use it, for 2FA. I use it for those things. And that's just because every one of my phones has Google Fi installed on them, and every one of them will ring when someone calls that number. And I actually use the voice and text over data, right? So I go into the settings of Google Voice and I enable that on rather than using, the carrier connection. I use the data for voice and text. So I could be on Wi-Fi, I could be on LTE, 5G, and that's, the calls ring natively within the app. And that's just because I really do wish they would have brought back something very similar to Google Hangouts, where it was like an all-in-one. That's what I was hoping that they would kind of bring back. But yeah, too many people were against it, and I feel like that Google feels like nobody would use it, which is furthest from the truth. It's just I feel like if they designed it better, because that's really what the backlash was. The backlash was the user interface of Google Hangouts. So if they redid Google Hangouts, like imagine if Google Hangouts had Material 3 Expressive Touch on it, I think that would have been a lot better. I think that if they, brought in what they put in Android messages, where you used to be able to assign a color to a message thread by somebody, so you knew who you were messaging based on the color of the thread. I think if they implemented that into Google Hangouts, that would have made Hangouts much more desirable. Like that's the thing. Like to me, I always feel like that Google gives up so quickly on the stuff that they use. Here is the news for me and B-Tech. Okay. What am I looking for? Oh, I like that. I can like not only pin your guys' comments on the main screen, but you still get right there. You still get a little small window with all the chat. Yeah, they do need to bring that back. There's several other things they do need to bring back. Like I am open to them bringing back Google Plus. I know some people didn't like that because they tried to like tie Google Plus and YouTube together, and that was like their way of trying to combat like online trolls and everything. So you couldn't have a YouTube channel unless you had a Google Plus account connected to a YouTube channel, and people didn't like that. But if they brought back Google Plus more in a sense of like, like how it was before the whole YouTube Google Plus connection, I would be open to that. I would actually love that because when Google Plus was around, I used it as a social media for my YouTube channel. Right? I don't know if you guys remember Hangouts on Air. We used to live stream from Hangouts on Air. That's why like this platform, StreamYard and Restream, this is why these guys exist, because they kind of filled the hole that Hangouts on Air left behind. Hangouts on Air used to, when you would live stream on Hangouts on Air, it will simulcast to both Google Plus and onto your YouTube channel. And when you posted videos on YouTube, it was easily shareable on your feed in Google Plus. And then, of course, the communities in Google Plus were like top notch. I know that, after Google Plus was gone, things weren't the same for avid users. Like there's like a couple of people I still follow on social media that were like, they were heavy users of Google Plus. And you could see that in the way that they do things, it's kind of changed up for them. They're not really doing it the way that they used to on Google Plus. Like they're posting on X, but you can tell it doesn't feel the same or natural to them as the way that they're used to it. Or they go to MeWe. MeWe was supposed to be the other one that was supposed to kind of, be a replacement to Google Plus, but it just wasn't the same. Even though those people on MeWe really try to make it almost similar, but MeWe, you don't really see people's timeline feeds because mostly everyone is just wrapped up in communities. So it's like, excuse me, I'm still tired. It's more of this like, it's all community based. So, you don't really just like open up the MeWe app and look on your timeline and find interesting posts by people, but you open the MeWe app and then you got to go to like a community in order to get like, updated posts from people. It's so crazy. It's the reason why I don't use MeWe as often as I used to. Cause like everything just feels like that everyone's just trying to group themselves instead of being, collaborative or, being sociable, which is what, social media is about. The key word in that is being social. And so, yeah, there's like a huge beg for Google Plus to come back, but again, it's wishful thinking. I know that the way that Google looks at things, they're not about wanting to maintain a social media platform. That was kind of the real reason, because remember, before Google Plus completely faded away and disappeared, they had said that Google Plus had not been maintained for like a couple of years, right? So they were going through and they were scrubbing dead accounts. And then after they scrubbed dead accounts off, Google Plus, they were like, okay, well, we're just going to completely shut it down. And they really actually didn't shut it down. They converted it into a social media platform for businesses that use, Google Workspace. And so it worked as that for a couple of years after, and then it completely went away. And it was funny because they renamed it from Google Plus to Currents, which Google Currents used to be something that those people who would post to Google News, if you had like a blog and you were posting it on Google News in the blog section, it would be a way for you to connect the RSS feed to your blog and post on Blogger, and it would auto post on Google News to the blog spot. So I believe in the description has my email. So if you go into the description of this, you should see an email address for you to use, and that you can email me. I had to pop my neck there. It's like weird. You guys ever go through it where you go to the gym and you work out, or you have like an at-home gym and you work out, and after you're done working out, you get tired, like you want to go back to sleep, which is like the total opposite, because technically working out should make you feel energetic in the mornings and ready to take on the day, right? Because you got like the blood flowing and everything like that. And I'm feeling tired. I'm not ending the live stream just yet, but I am just a smidge tired. I mean, I don't know. Maybe my body feels relaxed from working out. I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, those are some things that I wish that would come back. Google Hangouts, Google Plus. I mean, they can name it something else, but the platform in itself would be nice. Oh man. I don't know if I would say that I was like extremely working out. Like I wasn't strength training. I wasn't doing any of that. I was just getting my heart rate up and getting a good sweat in. Because like my wife is like super busy with work, right? Not saying where she works at, but she is a manager. She has an entire team that she runs, and I always feel bad for her because like, she doesn't have the best players on her team. So a lot of her team people call out, they call out for bullshit reasons or whatever. And, So sometimes my wife works like 55 hours a week, depending on how many days she's got to like work from open to close. um so she really doesn't have a lot of time to have like a set schedule to go into workout, which is the reason why that we kind of started to build together an at-home gym set, right? There's a couple of machines that we can use to kind of help with like cardio and just trying to get a good sweat going on. Later on, if the guy's still available, there's this guy on OfferUp who's giving away some free weights, free weight set for free. He's got to get rid of it. He's moving out of state, and so he listed all of what he has, and he has a good amount of stuff for free. So I'm actually gonna go pick it up because they're all still in good condition, right? So I'm gonna go pick them up, bring it home, so that way, where I was gonna build like my office to stream in, as you guys may have noticed, I don't stream in there anymore. I actually moved everything inside my house and upstairs, so that shed actually could be turned into a gym, and I think that's what my wife and I are gonna do, where we can get away from the kids, get away from everybody. We're gonna put a stereo in there so we can play some music while we work out and just set up all these machines and just work out. Kazi, what's up, man? Glad to have you here. And I think that's like the end game goal, right? Is to just kind of build an at-home gym. I know the next thing that she's looking for is for a decent treadmill so she can, run. Like I said, we got one of those exercise bikes, which pretty much is how I get like my heart rate going and everything. Get some cardio, being able to track my heart beats, and then today I was testing out working out and then using the Apple Watch SE to kind of just track my activities, and we'll see how that goes, right? So yeah, then we got like a couple of machines, to do some like stretches and things like that. Little by little, I'm gonna have like a mini gym set, pretty much like built from the ground up, and built any way that I can get it done. You know what I mean? That's a plan. If you guys have like an at-home gym, let me know what you guys are working with. You guys can share what machines you have, or what type of weights you got that you're working with. Share in the comments. If you guys have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them too. So comment your recommendations. I know that my wife is trying to get down to her goal. Okay, I got your email, Michael. But right now, my wife is down to in the 140s, and I think she's comfortable like at 135. Like she always tells me, she's like, she doesn't want to become super thin. She still wants to have some meat on her, but she's getting to where her goal is after a year and a half of going through bariatric surgery and changing up her diet. So she's about to reach her goal. I'm nowhere near my goal. This morning I weighed myself. Right now I am 163 pounds. Okay, so I'm in a better place than what I was last year. Last year, the beginning of 2024, my weight was at 189. 189, 190 is where I was kind of at. And before 2024, like at the end of 2023, I was at 205. So right now I'm at 163. And where I want to be comfortably for like, my height and my body frame, I want to be at 145. So that's where I'm trying to get down to, is getting down to 145 pounds. But like my goal is to reach 145 pounds, but not just shredding off body fat, but also building muscle. Right. So, it would, the weight would be based on the muscle build that I have instead of the body fat that I have. Right. So I'm trying to, get my body mass index down and get down to 145 pounds. About 145 pounds to 150 is my sweet spot. You know what I mean? 145 pounds when I'm eating lean and healthy. 150 when I decide to have a donut for a dessert one night, or a root beer float for one night, because me and sweets, if I even have a donut, or if I have a root beer float, or if I have a cheesecake, it's not like eating that dessert every night of the week, but eating it once, and then I end up swelling up to 150 pounds, you know? The end game goal really is like, I'm past the point of thinking that I can put my diabetes in remission. I'm just trying to be able to survive with my diabetes and live longer. Um, it's sad because BTech knows about this. I've been kind of going through a small depression. It's not anything like super bad. It's just that my one of my chihuahuas has diabetes, and I know it's crazy, right? And he just recently lost his eyesight, so the right eye is completely blind. The left eye has some vision, but he can't like really see people. So if I was to predict how my dog Opie, how he sees things, is he can see colors, which determines that there's something there. Like if I don't say anything and I walk within his view sight, he will growl because he will notice like there's a figure or something moving in front of him. It's not until I get closer where he can smell my scent, or if I talk and he hears my voice, is where he calms down. And of course, trying to like go outside to use the bathroom if I want him to go outside. When he gets to the front door, he stops and he puts one paw outside of the door to try to touch how far the ground is from him, because there is a small dip, obviously, from the living room floor to the outside patio floor. And he has no depth perception. He can't tell how far of a divot or a drop it is. And same way when like he's coming into the house, getting used to coming in and out of the house, he had to relearn that on just the best ways to do it. Because when he tried to like confidently walk into the house, he didn't realize that there was a gap from the patio floor to the living room floor, and so he tripped over it trying to go inside the house. So we know from the vet, we don't have a lot of time left with him. There's not really much that we can do. Like we can change up his diet, which we have, but yeah. I said it earlier. I got the email. I'm just not reading it at this moment, but I did get it. So I got your email. I will read it afterwards. But we just gotta like make him comfortable. So everybody's been spending time with him. He gets pampered now. My oldest daughter, she likes to carry him around like he's a baby. And when she's watching movies downstairs, she has him sit on her lap. She's always like, bundling him in a blanket, holding him like he's a baby, patting him. We just want him to know his last moments, the family that he was with, that we loved him very much, and that he was a great family member to the family. And when he takes that that trip on what they call the Rainbow Bridge, then whatever the afterlife has planned, we'll see him again. And I already said I'm not replacing him. So if he passes, I'm not interested in getting another dog. The two that I have besides Opie, I still have Courage. Courage is still here. I have Velvet, and that's all I need. I know my kids are like super interested in getting another cat. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy on that. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about. We may do something like that. Regarding it, doing it like immediately to try to be the first people out to do it is not really a thing. Plus, two, for most of you guys who don't know, mine's and BTech schedules doesn't always align. This is the reason why that we don't go live on the Deathlock podcast talking about wrestling like every day. If we had similar schedules where we could do that, trust me, he and I would be doing a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday show. But the reason why, that every time like he does a DLP podcast, if you guys catch his intros, he always apologizes for however long of a break we were on. And it's because it's hard. Like there's times where he's off work and he's available, but I'm busy with day-to-day life stuff that we can't make a time happen. So on the next DLP podcast, more than likely it's going to be brought up, it's going to be said. But yeah, we're not going to do one like immediately because he could be at work right now. And by the time he gets off work, I may be doing something with my kids, so our time zones aren't the same and we're not in the same area to be able to make our schedules work. we try, like, trust me, he and I, we chat on Google Chat all the time. If you guys don't know, B-Tech, like, he texts me on Google Chat. So we always try to, like, come up with a time that works for us. And then we got a third person that's part of the podcast who is more rarer seen on the podcast than me and B-Tech, right? And, that's Mill Hustles. He is part of the podcast panel. He is the third person that's on the show. But he works, I think, like 2 or 3 jobs out there where he lives. And so getting him on the show is also hard. So that's the reason why. If it wasn't for different time zones and different, things in life, we would be streaming probably like every other day or every day. Anyways, question for everybody while I'm here ranting on for a nice Sunday chill live stream. But who's catching Latrell's live stream tonight? And do you guys know that Latrell is going live tonight on his channel? First time in a long time to discuss the Samsung Galaxy, Fold 7 and Flip 7, which he was able to get from Samsung. Now that, he has a business working relations with Samsung as a content creator. I'm pretty excited for it because I know we're going to hear about his adventures in New York. We're going to hear about, the event that he attended, which was Samsung's Unpacked event for the Fold 7 and the Flip 7. We're going to hear about things that he saw that he's able to talk about. Obviously, we can't expect him to drop every secret that maybe Samsung showed creators who attended the event because they are under an embargo. So there are things they're not allowed to talk about. So we're not going to press him for those informations. We're not going to try to make him leak information because, I don't know if you guys follow him on social media, but he was pretty excited to be invited to the event. Like, Latrell's been working with his YouTube channel for so many years, and he was trying to get his foot in the door with these companies. He got his foot in the door with Google Fi. If you guys don't remember, Latrell had like a good business working relationship with Google Fi, and now he has one with Samsung. And so he announced last week that his live stream tonight is returning. His Sunday night chill live stream is coming back tonight. So if you guys don't know, now you know. And if you guys don't want to miss it, after this live stream's over, head over to his channel and he should already have the live stream set up. Just click to notify you as a reminder of when he's going to go live tonight. I think it's going to be in about 11 hours from now. Give us no. Because he's going through like 8 or 9 his time, which he's about 3 hours ahead. So it's about 6 p.m. my time. So yeah, literally in about 9 hours. It's about 9 hours. Yeah, that's pretty crazy, right? Yeah, that is some crazy news, man. You never know. I mean, today this world works pretty crazy, right? People are of today almost at times feel like that they're pretty heartless. Like one of my things to do besides making content, besides reading about tech, I like looking at other stuff. And I've been watching some YouTube videos that have to do with like crime and things like that, And man, what was it? I saw a YouTube video that documented and outlined a case of 4 teenagers who stole a vehicle and went joyriding, and they hit an elderly man for fun. Like, the reason that they got the state that they lived in got a conviction on them was because they seized all their phones and were able to access their social medias, and there were Instagram videos showing the moment that it happened, where the passenger in the vehicle with his friends that purposely hit this man on a bicycle who was like 63 years old. You hear them in the Instagram video where they're telling the driver to bump him, hit him, don't go too fast, go like 15, 20 miles an hour. So they did get charged, with premeditation, first degree, and there were like 3 or 4 other charges. The youngest one of the group was an 11-year-old. that was involved in that and got charged with those charges. The oldest was 15, so there was like a 15-year-old, another 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and an 11-year-old that stole a vehicle. They hit this elderly man. He didn't survive his injuries. It's really sad. And then, of course, from the Instagram, they were able to find out all these crimes in the city, like random gun shooting and everything like that, was done by these teenagers. And so they got hit with a other list of crimes, right? You know, because they did some pretty crazy things. Like, judging by the way that these young kids behaved, I'm glad they don't live in my city, or I'm glad they don't live near me. Like, you know, they would be the type to just like fire off rounds at me and, you know, my 14-year-old daughter, just because we were walking down the street and they wanted a target to shoot. So it's like a lot of things today come in the form of the fact that, you know, we put tech in the hands of our children as babysitters. That's the truth. We put too much tech in the hands of kids. Like, there are young kids who are like 7. They have an iPhone and they have an Apple Watch and all kinds of other stuff. And parents are like, okay, you know, they let their tech raise their children. So the children don't grow up with good sociable skills. They don't grow up with, you know, morals. Things aren't passed on to them, you know, for them to grow up to, you know, make good and better choices and decisions in their life. My generation is responsible for that. I switched back to Xfinity Mobile. It works better now that Verizon and Comcast made network upgrades in my area. Sweet. Glad. What plan are you on? Speaking of crime, I don't know if you saw my post on X last night, but had to stay up all night with my dogs because there was an escaped convict from. Ooh, wow. Really? Oh, man. Did they catch him? Like, the person who escaped, were they able to locate them, or are they're still missing? And how fast was their response time too? Like, I know when I worked as a prison guard in Texas, when I was in my 20s, like, we had a response time and a radius that would open up if there was like someone who escaped the facility. As soon as it's reported that we have a missing inmate, it was a 60-mile radius from the prison, automatically activated. Several towns, sheriff's departments, local police, they were all notified immediately. And every 30 minutes, that radius would expand from 60 miles to 120 miles. So, like, it was pretty fast. If I did the things these young kids do as a TikTok challenge, my mother would, yeah. I don't think these kids really gotten a good ass. My kids know what that's like. But they have to do something extreme. You know, that's like one thing that I always, you know, remind myself, right? It's like, not everything that they do needs to be punishable by a butt whooping. It has to be something severe. Normally, it's just more of like, you know, a lecture, a scold, and probably, you know, an hour discussing what they did wrong, and then seeing if they understand by having them explain to me what they felt like they did wrong. You know, so I want them to be able to assess things from, like, being able to have the ability to step outside of the picture to see the whole picture type of thing. It's a prison farm, so no gates or anything, and they're all on high alert. The cops do great, but a lot of wood, so hard to track. Ooh, yeah, for sure. I wonder why, because, like, I know so a friend of mine that lives in Washington State, I've known him since freshman year of high school, when I used to live in Washington State with my mom. I lived in Buckley, Washington, so I went to White River High School for my freshman year and part of my sophomore year. And I had a friend of mine there who actually had a wolf pup. Like, he found a baby wolf and raised it. He still has the wolf today, and the wolf is pretty loyal to him. Pretty scary though, because, you know, to me, when I hear a wolf growl, I think it's, you know, he's gonna attack. But my friend was trying to assure me, like, no, he's a vocal wolf. So he does growls, but it doesn't mean that he's going to attack. He's like, he was trying to share with me signs to let me know that a wolf will attack you. Still get nervous around the wolf, but anyways, yeah. They're excellent trackers, man. I think that prison farm, since they're out on the farm, there's a lot of wooded areas. They should have wolf pups trained as pups and use them for tracking. You'd be surprised how fast these wolves will track that guy, or or however many of them split from the farm. This is why I say I'm always a firm believer in this. I feel like yes, as inmates do good, that privileges should be given back to them. But the one privilege I feel like that should never be given back until they actually do prove that they have been rehabilitated is being in a facility that is super low security. I think, to me, being within the fenced prison should always remain. Because I had people who always told me, they were like, this guy, he got busted for Grand Theft Auto, so why would you be on guard, like as if they unalive somebody? And I try to tell people, just because this guy came in for Grand Theft Auto, that's just what he was caught for. We don't know what types of crimes he's committed before getting caught for a stolen car. He could have been a serial unaliver that steals cars to travel from state to state, and all he got caught for was for the stolen car, because they couldn't connect him with the cases that are going cold. Oh yeah, I've been seeing those TikTok trends where kids are like, they're kicking in doors, and then homeowners who are armed end up popping one of these kids as they're going in through the door in self-defense. I find it funny when parents of these kids who do those things want to press charges against the homeowner for defending themselves. Like the one that was kind of going viral. These 3 teenage boys booted the door in and did a home invasion, and the homeowner defended himself. He shot all 3 of them. 2 of them survived. I think 2 survived, and one passed on site, like in the front yard. I think another one did pass too, but that was at the hospital. I don't remember the details of that. Someone can comment and let me know what they really think of what really happened on that. But the mother is she wants the homeowner to be jailed. She wants to sue the homeowner. But it's like, your teenage son invaded a home with a gun, right? The 3 teens that kicked in that door were armed with guns. So it's not like it was unfair. As a matter of fact, it was unfair, but it was unfair for the homeowner, because the homeowner who had a weapon to defend himself, it was only one person that had the ability to defend themselves, which was the homeowner. The three who entered the home illegally, they all had weapons. So it was 3 on 1. So yeah. You had a wolf hybrid and a coyote mix. Coyotes are, I don't know if it's true, because I've heard people talk about like having like a coyote and raising it from pup, and kind of. I mean, you really can't domesticate a wolf, and you can't domesticate a coyote. Eventually, their wild side kicks in, but for the most part, if you raise them, they don't like. What my friend was telling me about his wolf doesn't see him like a dog would see him. Like if you have a pet dog, the pet dog sees you as the alpha. He's like, wolves don't see their owners that way. Wolves see them as a family member. So the wolf will be loving and caring to you because you've raised it. It'll still be a wild wolf to a stranger. Like if a guy breaks in his house, well, then I feel sorry for that guy, because he's about to meet God. That wolf will tear him up. So yeah. Yeah. They broke the law. You can't invade someone's house and not expect them to try and defend themselves. I forgot what state it is. I know there's a state that has a crazy law where, I think it's Hawaii that has this law. If you find someone who invaded your home by breaking in, if they're still entering your home, you have the right to defend yourself. You have a right to use a weapon to defend yourself. However, if you catch somebody who's broken into your home, but they're leaving your home, You are not allowed to assault them or defend yourself with a lethal weapon, because then if they pass, you will get charged with murder. Kind of crazy, huh? You gotta like know what your state laws are. Yeah, you have to be. So yeah, that's the difference between like having a wolf and a dog as a pet. And then of course those three teenage kids, like, you know, yeah, do I empathize with what they did? Of course, absolutely, always will. What up, coffee? Always will. I always will will empathize, not sympathize, but empathize with them. But the thing about it is that they were doing something wrong, and this is why, like, you know, it's one of those things, right? If you don't want to get burned, then don't play with fire. Okay. Because especially here in my state, people are crazy. I mean, people here like to show off because, you know, they can walk with holstered guns. And some people are afraid to take an ass whooping, that if it's a situation that could be settled by skin on skin, taking an ass whipping, they won't. They're quick to just pull their gun. It's so crazy. It's ridiculous. Crazy. No, those laws are, I believe, in Hawaii, where if the burglar's leaving your home, then you cannot defend yourself. You have to let them leave your home, even if, like, let's say like you had 10 grand stashed in the Bible, and they got it. You can't try to retrieve your stolen thing. You can't protect yourself. You can't tackle them to the ground. You can't use lethal weapon or non-lethal weapon on them. The only thing you could do is call 911, give a description, and let the police find them, which they'll be long gone. So no. I think here in Arizona, you have a right to defend yourself. I mean, you have a right to carry, right? You can open carry here. So anyhow. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it a morning. It is 9:21 a.m. Yeah, I wanted to test out StreamYard, see, you know, which one I prefer. So yeah, I'm gonna watch the video playback. I'm also going to probably cut this up into clips for the shorts channel. But I do want to thank everybody for coming in, hanging out, chatting with me. I know really wasn't much tech talked about. We did have just a little bit of discussions. But yeah, you know, you guys have been so great, so so cool. Come back Tuesday. Be expecting a live stream on Tuesday. And what subject I am going to pull out of the hat to talk about. Be expecting videos tomorrow, Wednesday, and Friday. Live streams Tuesday and Thursday. You guys are an amazing supporters. I love you guys very much. Be safe out there in this crazy world, okay? Because yeah, I want to see you guys on Tuesday and into the future. And with that, I say thank you for joining the relaunch of the Nerdiest Podcast. Y'all be cool.